Hello, Tristan here. We got this Subaru EJ25 upside down. So let's talk about some interesting things to do while you've got the engine in this state. And we can recap some of the other little things we've done too. First of all, on your cylinder heads, you have these grounding straps. Now the Subaru engine isn't well grounded to begin with. Part of the reason are these. They are open to the elements. They oxidize. I don't know if you can tell, there's a bit of a green color to these guys. That greenness basically means that there's an electric resistance to this that shouldn't be there. So we can replace those with oxygen-free copper wires. They basically just go right on there, and that lets your spark plug have a nice ground to arc to in this cylinder head. And we'll do the same thing on the other cylinder head. So pick up 2 of these, 1 for each head. While we're on this side, you can see it's a bit upside down, but this is your cylinder 4 cooling mod. So this is the port on the back of the head. This is the, what would this be? The driver's side in America. This is where that cylinder 4 cooling mod bolts into. There's a, let me see if I can. There's a plug like this in place, and you can see the red Loctite. This is very easy to strip out. To do this the easy way, grab a impact 12 mil Allen socket. I don't know what the actual technical term of this is, but this pulls it out nice and easy. You won't strip it, and makes life easy. Let's see what else. Over here, you can see the gaskets for your dipstick tube, where it joins up to the oil pan. They get real loose and they can start to leak. So grab new gaskets whenever you're doing work down here. That'll make life good and easy. And then while we're here, this is the this is the notorious leaky, bad brazing job. I don't know what you want to call it. Oil pickup from Subaru. So we replace them with a nicer unit. So here's an example from Killer B, and then that has real welds up here that won't fail from vibrations and things like that. So you'll get a nice constant oil pressure. It also gives you a thicker diameter tube and a bigger pickup. Now all that does is reduce the amount of pressure required to pull that oil up into the oil pump. So it'll also help reduce things like cavitation, increase flow rate, not drastically, but it's just that insurance that you like at high RPM. Let's see, coming around here, you can see from the bottom let me turn the camera here. This is your oil drain line for the turbo in place with the lock wire around it. So that's good and stiff, ready to go. The oil drain line comes in here. Your air oil separator drain line comes in from the bottom here. And then if we look up here, this will be where that the driver's side grounding wire bolts to. My car apparently never got one there, so that'll be a nice addition for this head to see a fresh ground straight to the chassis. And then over here we have a sandwich plate that helps cool the oil, and that'll be plumbed to an oil cooler. So HKS did some testing back when they released an oil cooler. I thought it was interesting. So we have, whoopsie. So we have an air-to-oil cooler here, which is good to keep oil cold at track speeds and track power usage load on the engine. The factory air to water cooler works really well for about 200 seconds, which is enough for a hot lap, but after 200 seconds it starts to not cope as well with the heat demand of the engine. So your water temperature runs lower than your oil temperature, so it always acts as a cooler. But this cooler, technically, if it were a water to oil cooler, it adds load to the radiator, the coolant system, and we're trying to get heat out of the car as much as possible. So we're relying heavily on the radiator when you have that water to oil cooler. Going to an air to oil cooler specifically is nice because it separates the load. So your radiator handles the coolant. It's not trying to also cool the oil as well, which is why it copes so much better on the track. So yeah, let me know if you have any questions.